Hey, it worked. That's awesome. All right, guys. Let's see here. There's the dashboard. Yay. Get stuff figured out. All right. Been having some trouble with our connection or something. So I'm glad we're able to go live. I went live on our Facebook account last time, and it's in the same playlist, but it's not. It's an upload, not a live. Not a live cast. So right now we are in Bushcraft A to Z. Letter F. Letter F is not a hard one. Fire. Simple, easy. Specifically, we're going to work with charcloth. So what you do is you get a little tin. You can have a hole popped up into it. I often use, this is my storage tin for the charcloth, but so I don't create charcloth with this, although I can. It's easy. Just pop a hole in it because you got to have a place for the gases to escape. So what you're looking for to make charcloth is one of my, I'm going to say this is my favorite method of making fire. Exceptionally easy to do with the abundant resources that we have that nowadays we can make charcloth and not have to worry about punk wood or charred punk wood or doing it in a different way. We can actually use cloth. Way back in the way, it was the secondary, way back in the day, it was a secondary method of fire making, secondary, even tertiary sometimes. Oftentimes people would use magnifying glasses, looking glasses, they called them. Even the Hudson Bay Company, a lot of their people that shipped did a lot of smoking, pipe smoking. And what they did is they, and the shipments, because almost everything back in the day was flammable, like wood and hay and straw and all these things and cloth and clothing, and everything was flammable. And there's these people that their workers would smoke and they can't tell them not to smoke and trust that they're going to do that. So what they did is they created they make the match, light their pipe, and then toss it where the cargo was. So what they did is they put a magnifying glass in the center of their tobacco tin that they would actually provide for their workers, so that they would use the sun's rays to light their pipe and wouldn't be throwing lit or almost unlit matches into their cargo, making a disaster. So what I've got here is I'm not going to use my flint and steel. I'm going to use my ferro rod, one of my ferro rods. So you can buy these at fairly cheap, Amazon, easily done. It's technically ferrocerium is the name of it. Ferrous is the word for iron or iron oxide, which is rusty iron. But it's also it's what's called a mish metal. As a category, it's called a mish metal because it's a mishmash of different metals that are put together, not an alloy. It's before they make the alloy, it's an alloy. Before it's an alloy. You have to get it temperatures to a hot enough degree to create an alloy. Below that, you create a mish metal. Okay, so what you do is you get your knife. And a lot of bushcrafters these days, woodsmen, will get their knife. A selling point is the spine of the knife, very, very sharp. Now, I mean that by the point of view of the 90-degree angle. There should be a 90-degree angle here. So if I get a piece of wood and I put the back of it, see, blades up here, edges up here, and I scrape across, just to give you an idea, it'll make this, it'll scrape. So I use it mostly for, or I value it mostly for that. But this also works as well. What you do is you get a thing with a 90-degree angle, you get your meshed metal iron, and you put it on and then scrape it off. I got a back end side because I didn't want to, I'll use this side. See? There we go. Nice big one. So what I wanted to show is, here's the carbonized, they call it carbonized, char cloth. So what you do is you get a piece of cloth, tear up an old white t-shirt or cut it into little squares. This is it has to be organic, preferably cotton actually, because cotton really works well this way. But you can use linen and stuff. But this is a thick piece of cotton webbing, cotton strapping. And I buy it specifically to make char cloth with because it's one of the best. It is less reactive. In other words, you need a big spark or lots of them. So it catches less easy. You need a big spark. Like there's a friend of mine, he was it monk cloth, I think he called it. Was a different kind of cloth, different weave to the cotton, and it was less tight. So one of the qualities of char cloth that make people really not like it so much is that it is very, very rippable. Like it's, it's fragile. What happens is you put it in the container with the hole in it and you put it close to the fire. You don't put it on the fire, you can, but you get it warm enough and you, in essence, you bake it. And what happens is the white cotton turns into like it'll start smoking. So imagine if this had a hole in the top, you would start smokestacking right there like that. Usually it's a blue-white smoke, which is an indication of an electrical fire. Interesting piece of information to know when you look at vehicles that are on fire, or you're seeing a fire that's out there. If it's dark black, it's an oil or rubber fire. If it's white and bluish, more of an electrical fire. But most fire extinguishers these days work ABC, all three ABC, or the three of the four, because there's a such a thing called metal fire, class Delta. But so you put it in a content, have the hole in it, put it on close to the fire. It'll start baking, and it'll release everything that isn't going to char. It'll release toxins, chemicals that are in the dyes of the cloth and stuff like that. So don't smell it. It's got a unique smell too, so you can smell a little bit of it. It's not, almost nothing is toxic. 1 part, 1 part per million or whatever. And then when it's done, you take it out of the fire. You stop smoking. Take it out of the fire, let it cool down on its own. Do not immediately open up the container, because if it's hot enough, it will spontaneously combust, and all that work you put into making sure that you get char cloth is burning. So you don't want to do that. That being said, take it off the fire, let it cool off. If it's cool to the touch, you can pop it open. You've got char cloth, and that's how I made these. So what I'm going to do is put it on this soup can lid, and I'm going to light it for you to show you what's going on with that. What you do before that, here we go. You get your tinder bundle ready. Now, I'm not going to light up in this room. No, sir. But I'm going to show you some stuff. So you keep and collect. If I can keep from making a mess. Here we go. You keep and collect shavings, pine needles. This is mostly shavings because my nickname in the woods is Woodchuck. So I almost always leave a trail of shavings behind me. So what you do is you get your shavings ready, strike the light, make sure it's lit, put it in the shavings, keep it together while you blow it to flame. That's the method used with a flint and steel, or what I call a strike fire. So in the Woodland Warrior program, we categorize fire making into two major categories: strike fires and friction fires. Friction fires are most popular, and in the survival bushcraft community, friction fires are most popular and most varied as well. There are so many different ways to create friction with wood to create a coal so that you can put it into a fire. It's unbelievable. There's fire plow, the bow drill fire, the hand drill fire, mouth drill fire, strap drill fire, pump drill fire. There's lots of different ways. But for strike fires, there's just a few. There's the flint and steel. There's the thumb drill. There you go. In case you didn't know, this is a thumb drill. It's still a strike fire because it's the flint used to make this strike, that flint, is this. This is it. It's just huge in comparison. Down there, they use these little bitty old things because that's all you need. But if you're going out into the woods and going to do something with that, take something big like this. Now, when you first get one, there's going to be a black coating. You take the coating off. That's what was wrong earlier. I flipped it over. There we go. So, if you can tell, that's what I scraped off, that black coating right there. All right, so we're going to light this up. Now you can, I'm touching it and all this stuff. As soon as I light this up and it starts glowing, it's going to be way too hot. I may actually have to put it in this container here. There. I have some flint pieces that I'm keeping. So just in case, I'm going to put it on here and we'll light it up. All right. That's the thing you got to worry about. You get into it. And that's what it took. Yep. So I just had to stand up. This is not very easy. There's your reacted charcoal. All right, buddy. In the home shop, fire. Yes. Who is that? It looks like Sensei. I can't see. Is that you, Sensei? If you do stuff, like, people don't understand. If you do stuff right, you can do pretty much anything anywhere. Pretty much. You just got to do it right. You got to pay attention. I've got carpet here, and I'm paying a lot of attention to where those sparks go. Um, and as hot as sparks can get from these things, like I think it's like 10,000 degrees or something like that, something crazy. Um, it doesn't stay 10,000 degrees as it leaves and goes through the air to hit anything. By the time it's 3 inches out, it's lost 80 to 85% of its heat, which is why you've got to be really close. But yeah, it's here. The metal is getting hot, actually. Yep. You can start seeing it a little bit gray. See what what had happened was, um, cautious, ballsy. I like it. Um, and it's got a unique smell too. Actually, it's very reminiscent of a good campfire. It's actually bringing me back now. I'm like wanting to go out in the back and make me a little campfire and do a little bit of carving on some wood. But what you want to do with F, as the fire is, you for char cloth, is you want to keep it in a watertight container. I almost want to say airtight, because any moisture that gets into it will completely kill its ability to react to the sparks and light up. Let's see if it's glowing a little bit. But it's an amazing piece of natural stuff. So we don't need the thumb drill, right? If we've got this. This is easy. Any woodsman worth his salt will have a few of these. I don't smoke. I don't do any of that kind of thing on my own. I keep a lighter in my pocket. Not because it's a cigarette lighter, because I get to choose what it does. It's, kind of like a assault rifle, but we won't get into that debate. I get to choose what this does. And this, to me, represents man's control and mastery over fire. One of the first things that we discovered created more protein or created the cooked meat, released more calories for us. In the Cro-Magnon, Denisovian man, it released more. Metal's almost getting too hot. Still cool at the table. Good. Discovered that cooked meat released more calories for us to use, and so it gave us more energy, which gave us a surplus of that energy, which allowed us to do things not just for survival. We actually were able to make jewelry and things like this. This is the whole idea of a man confessing his love to his woman by giving her flowers, something a man does not care about. The value comes in the fact that the man doesn't care about it. He's got extra supplies. He's got enough money for expensive flowers or whatnot, and he's giving it to his woman, as an expression of, I don't care about this, but I'm doing this because you do. But anyway, well, we get off on that. That's weird. So practice this. Have this. It's like in the martial arts. A lot of people will ask me, well, what's the best martial art? I clearly have my preferences. But the answer I normally give is the one that works. And there's rarely a martial art out there that doesn't work. They do. All of them work. Sistema, Savate, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all of them work. They do their job. The strategies they use, how efficient are they? Are they checking all the boxes they need to check? Or are they trying to make the boxes they need to check look a certain way so that they can check those boxes? But at the end of the day, my martial art doesn't have a roundhouse kick. But at the end of the day, if a roundhouse kick works and I use a roundhouse kick, I'm going to use a roundhouse kick and it'll work. Because it doesn't matter if I like this one better, but I keep this one in my pocket and I die due to loss of body heat because it's in a cold situation and I didn't pull this out because I have priorities or I'm too prideful to actually use this, then I deserve to die. So, it's an important. That's cooling down a little bit now. There we go. Still reacting. What's cool is when I move this, I'm gonna move this as soon as it cools down. You'll see the spot it made just to give you an idea of what kind of heat this thing created. Wise artist has many brushes at his disposal and uses the one that does the job best. Absolutely correct. So I say that from that point of view of don't downplay anything, right? Absolutely right. Don't downplay anything. This, just because this is easy doesn't mean this isn't fun. This is actually pretty fun to me. Actually, taking this out and taking a moment where the native way of looking at it is you're praying for fire. And so what you do is you get your bundle. I'm not going to take it out because it's messy. But you get your bundle and then you pray for fire, right? I'm low so that you guys can see that's when my head's cut off. And this chair is about as far down as I can go. Here, let me try this. Hey, there we go, a little bit. So you're praying, oh, please. You know where that comes from? Because if you're down here doing this and it's a hot day and the sweat pulls off and that drop of water goes down there and takes your coal out, you're going to be pissed. So there's reasons why we do this. Like this. And then to get more pure air, sometimes people will do this because, there's only our body uses oxygen, but our breath only gives our body only uses, there we are. Our body only uses 50% of the oxygen we breathe in. That's why we can do CPR. We're not breathing out 100% carbon dioxide. It's a little ashy now. I need some lotion. So today's thing is on fire. We've gone through A, B, C, D, E, and today is F for fire. We've got the rest of the alphabet to go. We have a competition. The most people, the person with the most correct guesses of the next letter. So of course you can't guess F if you're watching today for the first time, but you can guess G. You've got all the way until next week. Every Sunday, and the guessing cuts off 1 hour before I go live. I've had some trouble with lives, which is good for everybody else, which is good for everybody else because it takes me a minute. Usually it's around 12 o'clock, and here it is. Was it 3 o'clock now? So that extra time may be helpful. The prize of the person who wins is going to be a Bushcraft carving kit, a spoon carving kit to be exact. So you get and for G, I actually might bring it out. I've got a couple of them from my carving class I did the other was it last year sometime. So it's a triangular leather case. Open up the flap and you've got the inside. Inside is a carving knife, not too unlike this one. This is Condor, but kind of like this one. It's a longer handle, a little bit of a longer blade to it, but it's shaped very much similar. This is my pocket Scandi. So something like this. We'll also have it's got a spoon carving. So I'll describe it here. Actually, where'd I put it? It's right there. Okay. So I've got a Tuka cam. Give me just a second. A Tuka cam is a very large version. This is of a spoon knife. This is basically, I would call this a cup or bowl knife. So, and the edge is right here. Well, it's on the other side, right here. So I can get this. Let me take this off here. I'm going to be messy in the right place. All right, so I can get this real small like. Dig in, make a little depression. The more you do that, the more you get the spoon, right? You get away from that. All right. So it'll have a carving, these are examples. A carving knife, a little bit bigger than this. A spoon knife, a lot smaller than this. A leather strop and some compounds for that strop. And that will be the gift. If it's in the lower 48 states, I will even pay shipping. So think about that for a second. If you, the person with the most correct guesses, got to guess them right. So in a way, you earn it. Pretty cool thing. Gee, is this? Yeah, it's cool now. All right. So that's what's left. All right, just ash, dark ash, right? Something there too. That's how hot it was. So, oh wow. Yeah, it bent the metal. This wasn't this way before. That's pretty cool. That's hilarious. Actually, if I've got shavings, let me use them. There we are. And I like using natural materials for stuff too, like this muslin bag, which is muslin and linen, I think are the same thing, made from the flax plant. It's what Europe used before cotton was discovered. But if you use natural materials in as many things as you can, then in a dire situation, look at all the charcloth I can make. I make a lot of charcloth. You think about the next fire mentality. Just because you made one doesn't mean you'll always be able to make one with what you have. So oftentimes I'll already have charcloth, but if I'm out of charcloth or anything like this, in a dire situation, I'll start my fire with this or this. Because you got to also know how to create small enough slivers of wood to be able to use this. So you can literally, with enough sparks, I didn't really go strong on the sparks with this. Let's see. I really don't like this one. It's a weaker metal. This one's, I think, 01, 1095 maybe. I think this is 1075. This is 1095. Metal is important. But anyway, you can, with just this, you can make it. That being said, I like to include things that would help us. This is fun. Going camping is fun. It's restorative to the soul and spirit. Going nature camping or what do they call it? Wild camping is restorative to the soul. A lot of people don't do that. And people who do that wonder why. But all of these things will include, so going through A through Z, but every life will have something that you can take with you into your daily life, whether it's in a concrete jungle or the real jungle, and apply it. So, and based upon the subject content of the video. So keep your passions going strong. Whatever it is that you have that flames the fire within, that stokes that fire, that gives fuel to, because remember, think about this. Fire needs three things, right? Fire needs oxygen, fire needs fuel, and fire needs heat. So an artist, going back to the brush analogy, an artist needs oxygen, he needs time, he needs space to breathe. He needs fuel, which is the brushes, the canvas, the tripod, the paint itself, or whatever other medium, the charcoal or whatnot. And then he needs the heat. He's got to find his muse. Whatever it is that goes, there's a picture on that canvas. I just have to make it into reality. It exists already in the world. It just needs to be put here. And then you just become the conduit, the straw through which that creativity flows onto that canvas. So keep that fire going. Like I work, my daily job, I work with the special needs kids on the high school level, and it's a very rewarding job. These kids will remind you of the value of humanity, and what it means to be kind, what it means to be patient, what it means to start every day new. So just, you get your tools, you get your time to play, and then you go play. So keep that fire going, keep those passions going, whatever it is. Whatever it is, as long as it's healthy. There's people who grew up, and you can call it neurodivergent if you want. I would consider myself one of those with the ADD that I've grown up with. But there are people who, in their growing up, grew up in households and in certain situations where negativity was common, right? I'm not just talking about the negative perspective of life or anything like that, but like it would be easy to assume that a bully at school goes home to a bully, and the dark seed is planted there and then sown at school, like sown again. And the seed grows, and then the bully goes and bullies another person, and that seed is planted in that other person now. And now, without proper growth, that person goes, I need to feel strong. Here's a weaker person than me. I can bully him, and I will feel strong. It's a feeling. It's not an actuality. It's not true. It's not real, but it's a feeling. And I try to tell people all the time. I was like, dude, um, you can't blow out someone else's candle and think you shine any brighter. So shine bright. Um, just because you're feeling low or whatnot, and you're feeling a little dim, do what you got to do. Sometimes what I'll do is I will need a camping trip. I'll be like, I got to go. I know we had promised on, going out to dinner tonight, but this is for my benefit, but it's also for everybody else's around me. And I go camping and I can come back and I'm in a better place. So for me, my fire is two of the big things. My fire is camping, but also helping other people realize how really strong they are. Helping people understand what they can do. A lot of times people think they're stuck. They're not really stuck. They're just in the mindset of being stuck. So one of the things Einstein says is that, or said, was that no problem can ever be solved with the same mind that created it. So if you think you've got a problem, right? Because the physical things aren't problems. We have to think they're a problem before they become a problem. Physical things are just physical things. This is a knife. We call it a knife because we see it as such. It is technically two types of metal, two pieces of wood, a glue substance, and plant substance configured in a certain way. Knife cuts. And then you can use it then it becomes a tool, and then you can do more stuff with it. But it doesn't become anything until we pick it up. It's like Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel didn't who was it? Cain killed Abel with rot. Rot wasn't doing anything. It was just sitting there. Someone had to pick it up. Anyway, I digress. Actually, I think I digressed a good bit. Thank you for your patience. But I can, there's that ADD going on, is that I can easily digress, and everything seems to connect to everything else just in one small way. And I actually had a problem with that growing up, because I thought I was, making sense, but for other people, I wasn't. So I have had to adjust. Anyway, guys, go in the backyard, be safe, make yourself some char cloth and have fun with it. I've seen people do this where they would get an empty lighter and take the windshield. This is what this is a windshield. Take that windshield off, and this is empty, and all it does is it still has that spark, but there's no fuel left. And so what they do, they take the windshield off, they would get some of their char cloth, put it real close to it, and then go do that, and then light the char cloth and put it in the and then light their fire with that. So even empty, this is useful. Anyway, guys, I think I have spoken enough. Wasted enough of your time. You get to decide whether it's wasted or not. I will do this in my martial arts, and as an integral part of the Woodland Warrior Protector program, we have this thing right here. So Woodland Warriors, right? But on the other side, we have Shikin, Harimitsu, Daikomyo. Now it translates There's a crap ton of culture in between what this means to a native speaker and what this means to Westerners or English speakers. And the meaning has been butchered in many ways. But they pretty much all still apply. Dicomio is like great bright light kind of a thing. The way I describe it, the way it was described to me, I'll give you both descriptions. The way it's described to me and the way I describe it are two different things. The way it was described to me was if you're playing baseball and you swing and you miss, you get to decide what you do with that information, right? Do you quit? Do you run off the plate and throw the bat down, or do you get mad? Do you try to hit the umpire and like, I hit it, see? Or do you get back up, dust off, try again? The way I describe it is I try to use it in a more brief example where I say that Shikin Haramitsu Daikomyo means that you get to choose how you respond to life, which includes how you look at life. So, fire, keep the fires going. Do you really think a setback is a setback, or can you turn it into a step up? That's up to you. It's not up to anybody else. It's your life. You get to choose how you live it, no matter how young you are. A lot of people don't get this either. 5-year-old kid lives his life however he wants. Now, it's up to us to guide them in the best, what we know is being good ways of going, but a good way to live. But if he's absolutely determined, that boy's going to stomp on that pedal every chance he gets. Anyway, did I do it again? I did it again. Y'all have a good day. Have a good week ahead. And I will see you next time. All right, guys. Remember, get lost, but never lose your way.